This video is all about this stupidly broken toy that Blizzard were unwise enough to unleash on the game some weeks back. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but I cannot recall Blizzard ever releasing such a monstrously broken toy item like this. Sure, there have been useful items, fun items, silly items. I keep a comprehensive list on my Patreon of every toy you can glitch, but this one is really something special. As we'll see, even Blizzard didn't seem to understand how badly they messed up here, as after multiple fixes, this toy is still highly exploitable. So let me show you how this works. The item in question is called the Hearthstone Game Table, and it was initially only available in WoW during a special event in-game to celebrate Hearthstone's 10th anniversary. I believe you can still obtain the cards necessary to acquire the table, but you'll need to play against someone who already has one. Note the name is the Hearthstone Table Toy. The Hearthstone board is another toy item entirely. When you put the table down, it has some weird phasing tech going on with it that the developers obviously never intended. See what happens when I move one of my characters inside the table from the perspective of the other player. They simply vanish and cannot be directly targeted. This is very powerful and very game breaking. It is roughly equivalent to giving every player Rogue Vanish with no cooldown or perhaps feign death. Note that you don't sit down at the table, you simply walk inside it. The phased area is in the middle of the table. For most practical purposes, the phasing simply means that no one can kill you even if they know that you are there. Now, it's actually surprisingly easy to counter this exploit, as I'll demonstrate by getting my characters to duel each other. You see, if you know someone is hiding inside the table, you can't target them directly and attack them. Indeed, they show up as neutral if you target them manually. However, you can use knockback to force them out of the table, and you can also damage them with area of effect attacks. Note that you can't actually see their health bar when hostile. The thing is, you have to know they are there, and most of the time, other players don't. Now, I shamelessly abused this toy for quite a while in World PvP for the weekly Sparks of Life quest. This was so ridiculously broken. You can put the table down, sit inside it, and spam area of effect damage everywhere. Other players don't know you are there and can't do much about it even if they do figure it out, which mostly they didn't. The only issue is that you can't stray too far from the table without potentially getting stun locked. For this reason, an ability such as the Mage's Alter Time is very useful to get out of trouble. Warlock's Demonic Circle would be ideal. Aside from allowing you to complete the PvP daily in minutes, this was actually one of the best raw gold farms in the game, as you could pick up bloody tokens and honour, both of which can be exchanged for weapons and armour that can then be sold back to the vendor for raw gold. This all went on for some time. Blizzard's reaction to all this, despite numerous reports on the bug report forums, was their usual one of sticking their fingers in their ears, shouting loudly in the hope the problem would go away, whilst implementing a comically useless series of fixes. Quite early on they stopped the table being used in battlegrounds, and then after several months of complaints, Blizzard decided to ban the item from use in war mode, which shows you the very strange superficial level on which Blizzard think about these things. They seem to respond to every glitch by banning the use of a glitched item, quest or ability by preventing its use in certain types of content, rather than actually fixing the quest, item or ability. It is very lazy. In this case, banning the item in war mode is of limited effectiveness because in capital cities there is no war mode. It doesn't exist for all practical purposes. You can turn it on, but players inside and outside of war mode share a phase until they go into the wider world. This means that you can turn war mode off and can still potentially attack players when you put the table down in war mode when you attack the opposite faction's capital. Like a lot of things, Blizzard didn't think this one through properly. So you can still go to the centre of Orgrimmar and murder any players that happen to be passing, whilst amusing yourself killing any NPCs that get in your way. This is a lot of fun. At least for me, not for the players I'm killing, obviously. Additionally, it is worth pointing out the table is far from useless in player versus environment content, as it allows you to escape combat in any situation or just reset combat for whatever reasons. There are so many applications using the table, I can't go into them all, but at a minimum the table allows you to drop aggro onto your pet, minion or other player instantly, aside from the obvious PvP applications we've already covered. Now, because Blizzard don't generally watch my videos for this long, I'm going to cover how you can abuse this in PvE. This is clearly something they don't understand because they haven't made any attempt to fix it. You can see when I place the table inside a dungeon, it has to be an outdoor space in a dungeon, that when you enter the table, it acts like feign death or vanish as far as hostile NPCs are concerned, and they reset combat. The simplest application would be to allow any player that gets in trouble to get out of combat or become effectively immune to aggro, which can be very useful for a DPS in some situations. Also, resetting combat enables some abilities to start their cooldown timers, which is an effective DPS increase. There's another highly advanced use of the table, which can allow you to force respawn trash packs of NPCs in certain situations, making for some fast farming scenarios. There's some examples of this in an article I'm about to publish on my Patreon.